Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live tonight, where we're going to be discussing quite a serious.
It's quite
question,
important. It's quite serious.
Oh, my headphones wants to turn off a second. So yeah, we're going to be discussing veganphobia, or
what it is.
Yeah.
What it is. What we think it is. What your thoughts are. It's a chance for you to come on the stream and share your own experiences, share what you think it is, and sort of learn together. I think there's some really important topics that we can discuss, and hopefully by the end of it, things might seem a little bit clearer. Hopefully.
Because I think veganphobia was a term coined by that vegan teacher. I think we all know who that vegan teacher is. If you're here in the comments. But there's a few things I just wanted to just have a quick brief look at, and I was just going to share them with you now. How do I make this bigger? So
lots of screens.
We got Ruth in the
There's
background.
Our special guest.
There's our special guest. Just give it away. It's okay. So I'm gonna unmute her for a second so she can say hello. But it's the word phobia. So veganphobia. Well, we know what vegan is. So let's see what a phobia is.
So phobia.
So it's an extreme or irrational fear of or aversion to something. So obviously, veganphobia means the fear or the aversion to vegans.
But then you've also got the hate side of things.
Yeah. So
because of the anti-vegans.
So what I want to know is, when does veganphobia turn into like vegan hatred, basically? Because hate here is quite a strong word, and it feel intense dislike for. So there's the fear, and then there's dislike.
Detest. Loathe.
So which one is it? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. At the moment, is it a bit of both?
Is it a bit of both? This is what we're here to discuss.
Hello, really. Ruth.
So hello, Ruth. Welcome.
Am I here? Hi.
You are.
Thanks for having me.
That's
okay.
Thank
you for coming.
I think before we just go any further, we're going to see who's in the house.
Yes.
And
say hello to everybody.
Say hello. So we've got Gwen. Hello,
yes,
Gwen.
It is going to be a very important topic.
So we've got
hello.
It looks like it says Morning Dave.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. I haven't seen your name before.
Welcome to the stream. We've got Toby Gosling. Hello, Toby. Got Satan Inside. Hello, Satan.
So Satan Inside actually did his own video, I think it was last night, on veganphobia. And I woke up to that this morning. Really, really good video. Really, really good. So if you haven't seen his video yet, definitely go over and check it out.
Definitely. Oh, right. So Muddy Paws. Hello, Muddy Paws. We've got Helen Hawley. Hello, Helen.
Hello, bonjour.
Bonjour. We've got I'm Easy Vegan.
Yo.
Vegan King.
Hello, lovely. How are you doing? How are you?
The Grumpy Vegan Grandad.
Grumps is here.
Hey, Dan. Right, where are we? Vegan Gaze. Hello.
How are you doing?
Welcome to the stream.
Healthy Sweet Treats.
Healthy Sweet Treats. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Lads. Oh, we've lost Ruth.
Oh,
she's back again.
And I think that is that it.
We've got the vegan.
Oh, yeah, there she is.
There she is.
Is that it? I think.
Yeah, I think that's it for the people who have commented so far.
Oh, Summer in December. You missed Summer in December.
Hello, Summer.
And Vegan Pixie Warrior.
Hi, Vegan Pixie Warrior.
Okay. It feels weird. Where are all the trolls? Like, I'm used to being bombarded by trillions of 8-year-olds commenting but bacon and Jesus ate fish. Where are they all? It's peaceful here. It's a nice place.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they'll come. There's moderators in the chat if they do come over. Hey, perpetually annoyed. Hello, welcome.
Hello. Right, so Ruth, what do you make of
Oh,
this
there's a troll.
There's a troll.
I know you're not a troll. I saw you on that vegan teacher's video a few hours ago. So he's good. It's all fine. Thank you for being here. It's like, wow, you can spell bacon. You're so clever. We'll see later. They'll probably hop on because I did put a video out on my TikTok earlier saying that I would be here. Now, whether they can crawl themselves away from one app into another, I don't know, but we'll soon find out.
I hope they do turn up. It's always nice to see a troll.
Favourite vegan food from noodles.
1 or 2 is nice.
What do you make of this whole situation, Ruth? What do you think of it? Are
we talking about that vegan teacher? Is that what we're going to?
Veganphobia.
That's new at the moment. There's a lot happening, and it's all because of veganphobia. When the word veganphobia was first suggested to me, I hadn't heard it, and it was by Katie. We were having a phone chat. She's that vegan teacher over in Canada, and I was like, well, actually, yeah. And we were talking about how language is powerful, and about how we need words to describe certain things. And we know because a lot of children reach out to us in our private chats and say, hey, look, I'm being bullied. Help me. My mum's making me eat meat. I don't want to eat meat. What can I do? Kids are throwing meat at me at school. What can I do? And it's like, it's not bullying. It's bullying because of an actual act of discrimination. It's bullying because of something. So Katie had to think about it. And this word vegaphobia already existed, but that encompasses vegetarians too. Yeah. And vegetarianism and veganism, as we know, it's a completely different set of ethics. So we wanted something more, it wasn't me, it was all Katie. She wanted something more specific, and I don't know if it had already been coined somewhere else, but as far as I know, Katie did coin veganphobia, and she put an actual description of it, an actual, what it actually is, and put it out there. And my goodness, the reaction from both within and without the vegan community was crazy, which kind of proves that veganphobia exists. Whatever you want to call it, maybe you don't like the word, okay, it exists. The essence of what it talks about 100% exists. I did a live yesterday on my TikTok, and there was a lady on there that said her 8-year-old was at school yesterday and the kids threw meat at her. So, just because she's vegan, these kids are throwing meat at her kid. And that was the one incident that she knows about. There's children going through this around the world, and they might not have sympathetic parents to talk to. They might not have family or teachers that understand and that they can reach out to. So I think it's really important, first and foremost, that we do have this kind of label, because people need labels to be able to describe things and to be able to understand things better. That's my opinion on it.
See, when you say someone threw animal products at someone, that doesn't seem like a fear to me.
No, it seems like hate.
Yeah. Well, didn't you, in the description there, didn't you say though it was hate as well? There weren't the two kind of words for vegaphobia, weren't the two kind of description? There was a fear of and also a despising of it, was it?
So phobia is an extreme or irrational fear of or aversion to something.
Yeah, like I don't want to compare. Comparisons are not equations, but if you take the word homophobia, people aren't scared of gay people.
This is what we were saying the other day.
And as soon as you say that, this is the thing, that vegan teacher said that, and then all of a sudden, wow, you're homophobic. No, she's an educator, and she's trying to show and have a dialogue and a discourse about the language that we're using. If we can use it for homophobia, use this phobia word, then why can't we use it for this word? If not, give us a better word.
I think they cross over so much in between the two.
I think there is a...
Oh, we've lost Ruth.
See, I won't... I'll let Ruth speak when she comes back, but my thing, and it could be applied to, gay people, and it could be applied to every other oppression, if you want to get intersectional about it, but phobia doesn't, to me, describe what is going on today, like vegan phobia. It doesn't. I'm sure people get.
Well, put the
what I'm trying
link
to say
into the chat, and then obviously people can come on and share what they think, because I think it is a mix of fear and hate. And that's what drives it. That's what I get from it.
Is it the fear that someone is different?
Yeah,
that makes them
Katie's Paranormal has put that it's discrimination.
It's
and
like,
I think this is where it all interlinks.
And maybe it's the fear of change, because we represent what they could be. In essence, we represent an ideology that you don't have to eat animals, yet other people are eating animals 3, 4, 5 times a day, consuming animals 3, 4, 5 times a day. And we represent change. We're like the embodiment of change. And they look at us and go, yeah, but I can't change. I'm not ready for that. And they might not think that, but deep down, subconsciously and deep rooted, they're absolutely terrified of it. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's what Gary Satan Inside was going with, that it's, you know, about the change. Yeah, there's a lot involved with this.
And also, it's also, do they understand? I mean, I went to see my brother-in-law today, and we had a little chat about it, and he talks to me about my vegan stuff, and he's like, well, you understand, Ruth, because you understand that vegan isn't for everyone. But they don't cook. You know, they'll buy a frozen pizza, or cooking will be like pork chops and chips and things that they know they put in a pan and they do it in a certain way. So it's not just, it's the change, it's the how do they understand how to do it, and they're not sure how to go about that. But for me, I love to cook, so it wasn't really such a big deal. I just started playing around with new foods, and I can easily say that to people, well, play around with new foods, but it's not as easy for some people. So it's up to us to kind of help them understand that it's not such a massive transition, and actually anybody can do it.
That's
hate comes from fear.
See, that's what I'm. Definitely. Yeah. So there's a sort of like, so far I think there's a fine line between this vegan phobia and like hate, discrimination, anti.
Well, we've got
there's lots of words to describe it, but
we've got some more vegans in the house who are going to come and hopefully share their thoughts and perspectives. So let's welcome Grumpy Vegan Grandad. So you should all know that Grumpy Vegan Grandad has a YouTube channel. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Hello, Ruth. Nice to see you.
Hi.
Yeah. I've thought deeply on this, and I struggled with the word veganphobia. I'm sorry about the background, but my son's here. This is why I've come on quickly, because I'm going to have to jump off. Because
that's okay. Thank you for coming.
I've got beer and I'm having a relax this weekend. So
cheers.
I was struggling with the veganphobia, because firstly I thought of arachnophobia.
That's exactly me. Yeah.
And arachnophobia, you get a physical reaction to things. You sweat, you're scared, you get an internal fear, fight or flight sort of reaction. I can understand homophobia, because it was like it's completely opposite to what the majority of society see as normal. So and the one thing that got me on board with it was Islamophobia.
Okay.
Because Islamophobia is what some of the arguments for homophobia isn't the same as veganphobia and racism and all this stuff, is that you can't change your race and you can't change your sexuality, which I totally agree with. However, if you follow the Muslim faith, you could change that. You could stop being a Muslim, because you're getting all this abuse of people for being. So that's how I sort of looked at it. Is Islamophobia is very same to veganphobia, is that people assume things and they don't understand. They don't understand the why these people pray 5 times a day, why they dress in a certain way, why they have a different religion to people in the UK, whatever. So that's how I sort of compared it, and I sort of get it, but I'm still struggling with the phobia. I think it's more, like we said, it's a bit more like, how can I put it? You said it earlier. More like a hate thing. It's more like you're being confronted with something that you can control. and we are sort of reminding you of that you can actually not do this anymore and come the way that we sort of think about things. I'm struggling to make sense here. I'm trying to just process it as I'm doing it.
Yeah, I can understand as well.
I mean, it's some people are aversion's a good word. Aversion, people being it causes aversion because you're being confronted with something that you're doing and you know it's wrong in yourself, but society says it's okay. Society says it's fine to eat animals. It's fine that they are used in this way. And then you're confronted with someone who says that you are wrong. And it goes back to the beginning again, that your doctor, your parents, your grandparents, your government, the TV ads all say that it is fine doing this. So why are these weirdos saying it's not? Why is my doctor telling me it's fine and I should give my kids milk, cow's milk, because it will help the bones grow stronger? Why are these people telling me that's not right? Why are people telling me that I shouldn't eat meat and eggs for protein when I need protein? It opens up a whole lot of sort of contradictions in the lifestyle.
I think you're spot on there.
I think, I'm trying to think of the Latin name for hate or something. It's like ominious.
I don't know. I don't know any Latin.
That's how I feel. It should be like
discrimination is more is the word I was looking for earlier that got me lost. I was looking for the word discrimination. That's what I was sort of looking towards, and it is. I mean, like for instance, at work, the vending machines. You've got very little choice in the vending machine. The coffee machine. They keep saying to me, "Oh, go and get a brew while we sort you some work out." Well, I can't get a brew because there's nothing there apart from black coffee, and I don't like black coffee. I like white coffee. You know, so again, it's only very subtle, and it's not a major issue. I can take the milk in to work with me, but these are the things that I shouldn't be doing by rights. I shouldn't be doing that. We should be careful. There should be a section in that vending machine, and I don't mean accidentally vegan, like salted crisps. I'm on about the chocolate choices and everything. There should be an equal choice for all of us, you know.
I agree, and I think this is where we all need to pipe up, isn't it?
Yeah,
and sort of say.
Well, that's it, and that's the thing. But what happens is that people. Like I said before in my video, I'm in a good position where I can find work pretty much anywhere. I mean, the job I've got is just down the road, and I wouldn't want to sort of sacrifice that for the sake of having to drive 30 minutes up the motorway to a different job. And some people are in a good position like that, and they're very scared of speaking up. Like in the acting world, if I get a casting and like, whoa, I've been waiting for like 4 years for a casting, and I get this casting, and they say you've got to wear this leather coat and leather boots. Would I really be kicking off and saying, well, no, I don't want to wear those leather boots. I don't want to wear that leather coat. Would I really do that and risk losing my career? But then you've got to grab some balls and say, well, yeah, I've got to say something, you know. I've got to say something. How can you not say something? So it's always a balancing act, I feel, and it's an unfair balancing act that we've got to take. And
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because Ruth, you've got your own experience, haven't you, with speaking up?
Yeah, I've got more every day. more every second of every day. Just open my Instagram private message box and see all the death threats, you know.
I mean, you like told that and you lost your job, didn't you? You actually lost your career.
Yeah,
and along with that went the home and the lifestyle. It completely.
See, when you say you had death threats, it's like that to me isn't a phobia. That's someone that really fucking hates vegans. Without excuse my French.
But that is phobic, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Sorry to interrupt, Ruth.
No, it's fine. Sorry.
That is phobic. When you start giving death threats out, that is a phobia. That is a fear.
People do that too.
That is what gay people get. That is what black people get through racism. Death threats, because that is complete phobia.
It definitely exists. Yeah. I mean, a child hung himself a few years ago. He was only 13. And I hate saying it so flippantly, because a child took his life, and here I am just throwing. I hate sharing that information.
It's so important, though.
Be said, and he's
it's so important.
It really is, but he's the only one that we're aware of. What I'm worried about is that if a parent is refusing to accommodate to a child who has said, I want to be vegan, Mum, will you help me? Or even if the kid's a brat going, I'm not eating that anymore, and throws the sausages on the floor, because kids do stuff like that, and the parent goes, no, you'll blooming eat it, and they make them eat it, and subsequently that child self-harms or gets mental health problems, or worst case scenario, kills themselves, then that wouldn't be quantifiable statistics, because there's no way the parents would say, oh yeah, I bullied them for being vegan. It would just be that child died of depression and suicide. It wouldn't be quantified anywhere. So the numbers and the facts that we have are not actual true statistics. And this is what I'm really, really concerned about. Now, what the real problem with the word vegan phobia, I have found, is that animal rights activists are so passionate, which is good, that they do not want to take away the focus from the animals. And I don't either. However, I'm a parent and I'm a teacher, and children are being bullied. And never mind us. I mean, I get death threats, so what? Things have happened in life, whatever. But the kids are, if I'm getting these, what are the kids getting who are not able to deal with it better? And that's why we need this word. I mean, recently, something really horrific happened. I think it's horrific. It's really upset me. When that vegan teacher got banned from TikTok, a load of things happened. And part of this process was not only vegans speaking out against her because she's used the word vegan phobia, predominantly, and it's upset them because they were gay or have gay friends or whatever. Although I speak to people of every community and have these dialogues, and as far as I can see, it's fine. Part of that whole process, me and Katie had set up a kids private group on Instagram, a messaging group, because kids reach out to us all the time, as I said. And these kids had said their parents were making them eat meat. And I didn't, as a professional, I wanted to safeguard my own reputation, and I didn't want to be entering in a private dialogue with a child by myself. So I asked Katie to help. We put a group of them all together, and the idea was that they could support each other. And they could help each other through the process, even though obviously I want to just, wrap them up and look after them and feed them, but we can't do that. So we've got to give them the tools to be able to help themselves. And in this process, one of the children in the chat, I'm not going to name names, it doesn't really matter. He knows who he is, and he's admitted it. So I think he did it through pressure, because he was being bullied so badly by a YouTuber. He says that he actually leaked some of our group chat, and he screen recorded it and he sent it to this YouTuber who has made an awful YouTube video about Katie. Not even me, and it was me that set up this chat. Katie was just there. But obviously I'm not as controversial as Katie, so I don't get their numbers and the hits and the views that they want. So they've taken it upon her, and they have made it sound like it's all her doing, and like she's this twisted thing. And it was actually a bit where Katie had actually said, look guys, I'm really worried. Instagram want to ban me, TikTok want to ban me. If you can share any posts anywhere, it would be really, really great if you give me any support. And she hadn't really interacted much apart from that, and definitely not in that way. Anyway, this YouTuber got hold of it and was like, yeah, we're going to be able to bring her down. She's scared now. This is secret, inside, undercover footage. Now, what was missed there was that there was another 7 children in that chat who were all on shaky ground. I'm not able to help those children anymore. And the child who did it is really, really upset that he's done it. And he didn't want it. And he said that this other person was bullying him if he didn't leak the information. I can't get involved in all this drama. My head hurts from it. But at the same time, I'm really concerned about these children. And these big bullies they're not realizing, and it's not just a group of kids, it's big bullies. Like there's a guy called Ethan Price who's made some hate videos about Katie, vegan phobic hate videos. And he has bullied all the children, or ganged together all the children. The children aren't really understanding what's happening, and they're just going over to my content and to other people's content and just dropping things at them, and to children's content too. So that needs to be addressed. So I understand the animal rights activists who say that we shouldn't take away from the animals. However, this is a real issue too, and humans are valid too, especially children. So we do need a word for it because it does exist.
Yeah, I agree. I'm starting to come to agree. Sorry. I'm going to say one more thing, then I'm going to drop off because.
Okay. And then we've got Gwaine as well. He can come.
Yeah, brilliant. Because I've got, like I said, they're all watching TV. But I'd just like to say that we're all pioneers now. We're all pioneers, and we're all doing things for the first time. This court case that got us this vegan philosophy recognised. Yeah. It's given us a bit of power, but it's not been tested yet. It's not been tested properly. And I would just want to say to all the adults out there and everybody out there who's working or in an environment where they could be discriminated against, is you've got to stand up to this. Anything you see, you've got to stand up to it. You've got to call it out. Don't be scared and do it. We're pioneers. We've got to be the first people to do this, and nothing will get changed if we let it pass by and don't say anything. Don't be scared of employees. Don't be scared of HR. Make a complaint, put everything on an email so you've got proof that you raised the question and they failed to act on it. And we've all got to do this, no matter how scary it feels, no matter how scary it seems. When you're the first people to try something, it always is a scary idea, and it always is a scary thing to do. When that young lady, Rosa Parks, first sat in the white section of the bus and didn't give a seat to a white person, that must have been scary, scary shit for her. But she did it. She did it. And look what that caused eventually with all the other actions that people... You've got to have the balls and just do it now, because otherwise they're going to walk all over us, and this is going to be ongoing, and nothing's ever going to change. So I'll leave you there. So 100%. Peace, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you for letting me come on.
Thank you for coming on.
See you later, Ruth. Thank you.
So that was,
that is great advice from Dan. And those of you who don't know about Grumpy Vegan Grandad, please go and check out his channel. He did a fantastic video the other day. I think it was veganphobia equals rubber gloves, something like that. Yeah. Really interesting. Talked about how, some vegans are, have opted to foster children and they've been declined because they are vegan. So really good video. Go and check it out, definitely. And I just wanted to give a little shout out to Laura Shepner, who is in the house. Those of you, yes, those of you who haven't heard of Laura, she is Primary Vegucation. She's on Instagram. She is on Facebook. And she goes into schools and basically does education, supports the schools in vegan inclusive education. Laura, you are welcome to come on if you want to and talk about your perspective. But I'm going to bring in Gwaine.
Yep.
Because he's been sitting here in the background. Hello.
Hey, Gwaine.
How you doing?
So,
he's muted.
I'm starting to come around.
Yeah, I muted myself.
That's the way you're describing it, and how Grumpy Vegan Grandad described it as well.
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't hear you, Adam.
Sorry, I was just talking openly, like an open dialogue, that I'm starting to come around with the word veganphobia as a word.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought Dan said that was it. That was going to be my point about Islamophobia. But if you actually look up the word phobia, it's an extreme or an irrational fear or aversion to something. An aversion means a strong dislike or disinclination. And disinclination means a reluctance or lack of enthusiasm. So, I mean, I think veganphobia is actually a really accurate word for it. But I mean, I didn't know this existed really. Until a week ago, until that vegan teachers, till Kelly's video went up about Earthling Ed not being very supportive of her, and I saw that, and I'd never seen any of Kelly's stuff before. All I'd seen is other vegan YouTubers criticising her, which I feel really ashamed and embarrassed about. Actually. And since then I've looked into it and opened my mind to it, and I'm just seeing it everywhere, and it's quite worrying, really.
Sorry, Gwaine, can I just interject? So you could say veganphobia exists within the vegan community as well, then?
Yeah. I do think that. I wrote down some points actually, but that was one of them. I think within our own community, and I think that people are scared to stand up for people like Katie because they're worried about getting targeted themselves. And they're you know, I know especially normally when people first go vegan and they're worried to speak up for animals and stuff, it's sort of a journey, and I think sometimes you have to be quite strong to take some of the criticism. But yeah, I do think that people even wash their hands of other activists because they're worried about getting backlash themselves and being associated with that.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, going back to speaking up about the animals, I think there's a lot of silent vegans out there who don't talk about the animals, maybe because they are worried about the backlash that they're going to have.
And maybe see animal activists as not a good thing for their look or something.
I don't know, but it shouldn't really be an excuse to not speak up for the animals, because the animals need us to speak up for them. I mean, I didn't always have the confidence to speak up for the animals. I used to talk about the health side of things, but then, I've educated myself on what actually goes on. And of course, I'm going to speak up for the animals. It's the least I can do, really. But I can understand that some people find that, they don't like the confrontation that some people bring with it.
Yeah, but there's silent activists, but then there's a whole other category of activists who are. I mean, I've seen this firsthand because I suppose I've got a different perspective because I'm also a vegan teacher. So I see a lot of stuff that vegan teacher gets. And vegans have literally made videos, and they've made videos, and they've made like a cooking video, and they'll say, this is a cookery video about vegan food, but don't worry, I'm not like that vegan teacher. Like that one sentence, they could have said anything, or they could have chosen not to say it. And they have used the haters' hate to piggyback off her to go and push themselves up. Katie has been asked to join the creators account on TikTok. She has refused. She is not making, I think she's started to monetize her videos on YouTube now because she's trying to get new equipment. But it's literally, she's making there's like $20 here or there. And, from nice people who donated in. But it's literally, people think she's making loads of money from it. All these kids on YouTube that are making all these like Twitch videos and talking horrible stuff. They think we're making money out of this. They don't realize we're just doing it just because we're kind. And other vegans are using that hate as fuel to boost their platform up, which, we don't care about as long as the message gets out there. However, it's just wrong. And Earthling Ed did it himself. I mean, that was shocking what he did in that video. I was truly horrified. Me and Kate both had a little cry about that because we admire Earthling Ed so much. He took it down within a day, but more likely because he said that Gordon Ramsay wouldn't want to be in front of a farmer in case he got fisted up the anus. And I think that was probably why. And we respected him for saying that. But he also used Katie's face and Gordon Ramsay, and he's looking very disapprovingly at the both of them as though they're equal, as though Katie and Gordon Ramsay are somehow ethically equal. And the only line in the video, for like a 10-minute plus video, he said about Katie was, I don't approve of everything that vegan teacher says or does. And then he went on about other stuff. He never said one nice thing. And he never even said, like at the Animal Rights March, he was like, all the vegans need to stand up. Like, oh yeah, Katie, no, not like that. But I'm not going to tell you how to do it, just not like that. And there's sexism as well, and there's ageism, and all these different isms, and they all are very complex and they wrap around each other. But definitely I've seen the sexism personally, and I'm sure there's the ageism with Katie because she's a strong woman and she chooses not to dye her grey hair. That's a powerful thing, and a lot of people are terrified of that. Sorry, I'm talking a lot again.
No,
it's okay.
It's true. Yeah. I think that might have been a mistake on Ed's part, but I think what would have been great after he'd made that mistake and after Katie brought out her video, if he'd come out and made those 10 positive things that she asked him to, just made a video just saying 10 positive things about her, that would have been really nice, just to show solidarity and support. Or an activist who has had 750 million tags to one of her accounts. Like that, she's got massive reach. She's reached more than anybody else with the message. Right? There's nobody that's reached as many people as she has.
Oh yeah, one of her videos was like over 5 million people viewed it. The video on Gordon Ramsay, like within a day, 5 million people viewed that video. A short 60-second video. was out there. And the Eating Animals is Wrong McDonald's song, it was millions and millions of people that saw that. And that song, I go to sleep some nights, and that song is in my head. So hopefully it's, you know, it's wired in some previous and it starts to do its magic, you know.
And there's all the big YouTubers like Isaac Butterfield and all of those YouTubers that have got 400,000-500,000 subs that appeal to the younger generation that responded to her and made responses to her, and they're actually talking about veganism. And I've watched some of them, and they start talking about some of the ethics about veganism in there because they're responding to her. And actually, some of the stuff they're saying, without even realizing on it, is the animal rights message. Right? So it's not just the views that she's got off of her specific videos; it's the responses as well.
It's interesting.
Absolutely, it's getting it out there on the table. It's being talked about. That word is out there. Whether you agree with what she's doing or not, we don't all agree with each other all the time. Veganism is not a personality trait. It's not. It's just that we don't want to eat animals anymore. We don't agree with the principles behind that. So we need to unite. We need to come together, and we need to have an open dialogue about the kind of language we can use. I was in a WhatsApp group and I was talking about this word, this veganphobia word, and I got slammed down by a bunch of Americans, and they wouldn't even let me talk about it. Like, no, you just can't use that word. You know nothing because you're white, and you know nothing about this because you're white and you're white. And that was it. Because I'm a straight white lady, you know, I can't talk about this stuff. No, you can't. And that was it. I even went out and I got, Amazon, and I bought myself this book to try and educate myself. And it just makes me believe even more in what I say. It's there's racism prevalent across colour.
What is that?
You don't have to be.
What book is that?
Veganism in an Oppressive World. It's done by a collaboration of different people of colour.
Okay, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, and it is quite interesting, but it's very much the American context. Very different here. Oh.
So we have Laura Shepner. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me on.
No, I think it's very important that you're here today. I'm really glad that you could come. Did you want to tell everybody a little bit about what you do before we chat about veganphobia?
Sure. So very briefly, I work as a consultant to primary schools, and my specialism is vegan inclusion. So I help and support parents who are having issues with troublesome head teachers. And I also provide teaching resources to educators who have vegan children and don't quite know where to start, really. So that's primary education. That's what I do. And it's really great to see Ruth here. This is the first time we've actually collaborated after many years of going backwards and forwards. So I
know we've tried it so many times and we haven't met yet.
Hello. So that's what I do. And it's been really interesting listening to all of the children's perspectives from Ruth's point of view, from the older children, I guess. And really sad to hear about what's going on with all the discrimination. It's just so rife and it's so disappointing, so upsetting.
It's awful. Absolutely awful. What do you think about this term, veganphobia, Laura? What do you think about it?
I've never used it myself. This is my introduction to the word, actually, which is why I felt compelled to come and listen. I've been living in a bubble, clearly. So I guess I understand veganphobia as a term because phobia is just a great dislike for something, and we are disliked by a great number of people. But I think the point that I really wanted to make is just I think it all comes down to understanding. I just think if people hate or dislike, it's just due to unknown circumstances. They don't understand it.
Yes.
You know, if people hate people of colour, it's because they don't understand their lifestyle. If people hate people from the LGBT plus community, it's because they don't understand how they can live that way of life. And I do genuinely think it comes down to education and a lack of understanding. And you know, it's easy for me to say we should have a little bit more patience with these people because they obviously come from a background where they haven't been taught compassion and love and acceptance. And I think that we should, as we discuss people hating one another in various different ways, we should always just probably keep in mind that you know, as vegans, our first and foremost job is to educate, and you guys do that perfectly well with, you know, the book that Ruth has written, and you guys doing that with this amazing platform. And just always to I just think just take into account that perhaps they haven't had the worldview that we've been fortunate enough to see and have, and we have a community that is supportive around us. And yeah, so if people do hate vegans, let's get to the reasons why and try our absolute best to just calmly, you know, sometimes it is difficult. I do appreciate that. But I think in my work, especially when I'm in a room full of teachers who don't understand veganism and don't particularly want me to be there, I have to be really pragmatic and really understanding, and say things such as, I was once in your place, I was once in your shoes, my favorite meat used to be turkey, and just try my absolute best to just stay calm. So that's kind of my view on the vegan phobia thing at the moment. But I know that there are people out there who really, really genuinely, you know, would claim to hate us.
Yes, yes, we know about those people.
Yeah, we do know about those ones.
Yeah, and I just think, you know, perhaps they're in the kind of, there's like stages of grief, you know, where first you don't understand it, and then you try and fight it, and then or something or other. And I think there must be some form of, you know, first they hate us, and then they
try to bring us down or something like that.
Yeah, there's steps in between that are really important, and we should perhaps maybe figure out what those steps are and publish something and work on that, because eventually, you know, there is no counter argument to veganism, so they are going to have to become accepting, and yeah, I just think as a community we need to work on filling in those steps to get them from hating us to loving us in a pragmatic and understanding and friendly vegan way.
Like that. Yeah. I think a lot of it as well, with what you were saying about people not perhaps being raised with a loving, compassionate way. If we're getting into the schools like you are and actually teaching and educating about veganism, then it can sort of start there, because from what I'm realizing, especially with that vegan teacher, a lot of this discrimination is coming from the younger audience, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, I watched this dreadful thing the other day. A comedian who I thought was quite funny, but now I'm perhaps. He interviewed a bunch of children about. It's killing me that I can't remember his name, but he interviewed a bunch of children and asked them about becoming vegan. Yeah, he's blonde.
I did a response video to that, actually.
Oh, it was dreadful.
Yeah, Russell Howard. I want to see it on my YouTube. I've done a response video to it because it was like, what?
These children, they just genuinely just despise the thought of anything vegan, and I'm thinking, God, they're so young. Yeah. How can they have such an opinion on something they don't know about at such a young age? And even with the work that I've been doing for years and years now, to still be shocked by how young and opinionated children can be about our awful lifestyle, it's still shocking. There's a lot of work to be done. Our children are so impressionable, and it really is dreadful at that age to have those views. But then again, you know, children of that age can be homophobic, and children of that age can be racist, because it is what they're taught. It's the environment they're brought up in.
I think that's what a lot of it is, what they're taught. Yeah.
And it really is such a shame. You know, these people who have been trolling the vegan teacher for years online, the ones who troll you guys, I mean, you know, it's got to have come from somewhere. It's just so unfortunate.
I think that's right, though. I think this learning, this teaching needs to take place early on, because you're saying that these children had such strong opinions on vegan food or the lifestyle. I think they need to be taught, because they obviously don't understand it. They, what you said earlier. So I think, yeah, primary education should be everywhere.
Yes.
I am battling to get it on the curriculum, believe you me.
I would say we had Jack's nursery do a sit down book. They read a vegan
that
book.
Was interesting.
And they did a lesson on veganism. So that's hopefully those children in that nursery will understand what veganism is and not have such strong opinions. So yeah.
Classroom by classroom, child by child, school by school. Until eventually there's that many of them that, you know, the tipping point has been reached, and then Ruth and I will be out of a job.
You've written it. Yeah, we're taking some notes.
Yeah, we're making notes about this
so
as we're going along.
I'd be happy to not to worry about any of this stuff if everything was nice and people weren't eating animals. But then I think I'd tackle the education system. I was talking about this with somebody the other day. I'm like, well, actually, I don't like the education system, so I'd probably start on them next. There'd always be something, you know. It's just what I do, you know. But it is worrying. I think these.
Sorry, I was going to say.
Oh no! Oh, sorry.
You go for it. No, you go for it.
No, you go for it.
I was going to say, touching to what you were saying earlier about that WhatsApp group that you were in, is that there's this thing said that minority groups, you need to listen to minority groups, and if it's racism or something, you should listen to that, or homophobia, you should listen to that. But I've seen a lot of LGBTQIA plus community coming out and saying vegan phobia is not a thing, etc., etc. What happened to listening to that minority group? That's what I'm thinking. There isn't much listening to that minority group, and this is directly responding to TVT, who's bisexual herself, and she made comments that are being taken massively out of context to try and make it seem like she's homophobic, transphobic, which she's not. I've watched those videos, but yeah, and I just wonder if it was switched around, and they're saying, like, I've been over on the things talking to people a lot, and they're saying, well, she's transphobic, so I can be vegan phobic. It's like, well, hang on. If somebody's eating, you know, if a black person's eating cows, does that mean I can be racist? If a gay person's drinking milk, does that mean I can be homophobic? No, it doesn't work when you switch it around. So there's no logic to it. And there's just these massive groups of thousands of people just hounding other people. And I know you were saying that we need to be loving and understanding, Laura, which is all right for some of us. I mean, for me, that's okay. I'm okay. But if you're a 15-year-old kid and you're not certain, or you're someone that's suffering depression or mental illnesses, or struggling in some other way, I think that's really difficult. And actually, that sort of pressure can push you to suicide or having severe depression or whatever. I think that can be quite hard.
We've got a comment here that I thought might be good to discuss. See what you guys think.
This is this one.
Yeah.
So I think it's the only well, unless we mention Islamophobia as well, it's the only really things we've got to compare.
How else are we supposed to have this dialogue? As an educator, this is what we do all the time. We compare things. If we're learning about the war, we'll recreate like a war scenario, and we'll put an air raid siren on, and we'll turn the lights off, and we'll go through it together, just so we've got a feeling of what it's like. We compare. Comparison is not equation. It exists, and okay, as adults, let's take away that we're being veganophobic, bullied, or whatever you want to call it. But there are children going through this. Yeah. And that is why I hit TikTok, and that is why me and Katie, we both went on at the same time, but she's just been so much more popular. But I've got like 21,000 followers in there now. And some of my videos have been seen over 500,000 times, and that's 500,000 fresh faces seeing that it's okay to be vegan. And you don't have to be wearing, like a meat is murder t-shirt and a black baseball cap and be walking down the street, or you don't need to be in McDonald's throwing red paint at everyone, which I do believe there's a place for every form of activism. We're all needed. But we're showing them that there's a range of different types of vegans and different types of activists, and all we want is for the animals to stop being killed. So by bringing up this vegan thing, it is caring about the animals, because we're caring about each other as a community. We're looking after each other's mental health, and we're making sure that we're all okay. And for me, especially the children. So it doesn't need to be this or that. Why can't we just do all of it?
And going back to sort of what happened to us last year with the bullying thing that happened, I networked with a lot of other vegan families through Instagram, and what I saw through these anti-vegan pages was just unsuspecting, beautiful vegan children being, you know, thrashed all over social media without parental consent, with really horrible things being said about them. And again, the families didn't know. And I was going through some of these pages trying to find out who they were, to then have to, there was a couple that I had to let know and say, you do realise that your child is on social media in the wrong hands. So this is happening. And I do think that vegan phobia is a thing.
I'm not making any comparisons. I'm simply talking about other minority groups being able to have a voice of a minority group. But then some people in those minority groups are shutting down our minority group, saying we don't have a voice. I'm just saying that that's not actually a fair thing to do. I'm all for amplifying minority groups. And until a week ago, I would have never said that vegan phobia was a thing. I'd have people taking the piss out of me, and I'd taken it as banter, and I'd done it back. I'd give as good as I get. And I've had negative reactions. But I never saw that as vegan phobia until I saw stuff like that vegan teacher who's having her address blocked. She's having death threats. She's having flesh put on her doorstep. She's having her houses egged. They're trying to kidnap her dog friend. There's videos that I've watched where they're showing Bella on the videos, and they're showing photos, and then they show a photo of a different dog, which is and I called them out on it, and nobody's come back to me. They're showing photos of different dogs that do look starving, but you can tell they're a different dog, right, in the photo. So so it's like it's actual lies to spread hate.
Yeah. It's not the first time I've seen that neither, Grain, about using animals, companion animals, as a weapon against us. I saw it on VD's channel.
That channel.
Yeah, and
Glorious
basically
channel.
there was a dog that had that was on the channel in a companion animal, and it was in this photo, and it had just had surgery. Yeah, so it had all the hair shaved off, and so yeah, she was like there, like going, "Oh, look at this dog! It's that deteriorated. The hair's falling out." And I was just, you only had to literally just like do a little bit of typing, go on Instagram, and see where that photo would come from, with the comment, the description of the photo saying that, like, Woody come out of his operation successfully, or like he's fine from his operation.
It's amazing, isn't it? I actually went to a farm a couple of weeks ago where the sheeps there had actually lost all of their wool because they were so neglected. There was dead sheep. Sorry, this is a bit hard, just sort of lying there, and then they're coming out and saying stuff like that. I mean, with that vegan teacher, this dog was a different dog. I took photos and I just went up and I noticed different marks, and I pointed this out and nobody put it out. So yeah, it's really disgusting.
But the thing is, Gwen, they're sheep, aren't they? So no one cares apart from vegans.
Oh yeah. Well, just a snowflake.
Let's not insult the sheep, okay? But people have put a wig on, gone into like a fast food joint and smeared poo up the walls and pretended to be that vegan teacher, filmed it, put it out there, and people believe it's actually her. Like when I say people, it's probably children. But it's insane the things that they've done about her. And she's a 56-year-old woman that plays the ukulele, and yes, she says things that are very close to the line, and it's pushed my beliefs. Something really challenged me. But we've conversed about it, and I've said, actually, no, you need to say these things, and we need to step it up now. We're on the next level now, and we're nearly at that tipping point. And once we get there, that'll be it, and we can bring more people in. But while we've been like very complacent about things and saying, oh, Gordon Ramsay, okay, he's just a chef. Well, no, it's animal abuse, and he's telling people to go and kill animals. And, call them out. Why not? Yeah. Why not? If it was a child abuser, you'd call it out. Just because it's legal doesn't make it right. I think the biggest problem is, though, people say that we have a choice. People say it's not like being gay, it's not like being black, it's not like any of these other things, because we have a choice. However, the underlying argument is, I don't feel I have a choice. I would literally rather starve. And I know that sounds extreme. I don't view it as food. I don't know. How do you all feel about it? Do you feel you have a choice as to whether to be vegan or not?
It's the right thing to do. It's the animals don't get a choice. Yeah, basically, the reason he's looking at me like that.
McGee over here.
I went to press something.
Yeah, we did notice she disappeared.
Yeah.
And it was
There's these little side buttons on the mouse that she keeps like pressing, and it's a back button.
Yeah, I won't press anything anymore. I was just going to say, perhaps stick the StreamYard link in the chat in case anyone wants to add.
You can do that with the keyboard. You're safe with the keyboard. Just press Control and V, and then enter. Like that. All right. Thumbs McGee over there.
I won't press anything anymore.
It's not a choice.
No, the reason I did mention it is because from within the vegan community, I've even heard vegan animal rights activists who stand outside the slaughterhouses saying that being vegan is my choice. It's my choice to be vegan, so we shouldn't use the word veganphobia because it is a choice to be vegan. I really don't think it is a choice. I think if you're standing outside a store at 4 a.m. in the freezing cold, that's not a choice. That is, it's the right thing to do, and you're trying to change the law.
But on that, you know, if it is a choice, you're going out and you're doing this for the animals. Why should we still be, receive all this hate for what we are doing, even if it is a choice? Why?
Because they think it's a choice, but being gay isn't a choice, and they say that you're putting down gay people, and they're already oppressed enough. And because I've read the book, I did talk about this veganism in an oppressive world. And the fundamental argument is that while these communities are already so oppressed, if we throw this at them as well, that, you have to be vegan and you don't understand, they're never ever going to go vegan. But the other side of it is, unfortunately, I know it sounds awful, statistic-wise, we need to pitch to the bigger market, and then it'll be cheaper and more normal, and everybody else will jump on.
Well, in that same sense, religion's a choice, right? But it's not okay to be Islamophobic or anti-Semitic. And actually, and I hate to, I don't want to trigger your friend. I don't want to trigger your friend. Commented a second ago, but if you're say if you're a straight person standing up for a gay person, and then you have a load of homophobes attacking you as a straight person because you're standing up for gay people, that's still a homophobic attack, even though you're straight, right? And we are standing up for animals. So it's still a vegan-phobic attack, in that sense. So in both of those senses, those people that say that are wrong, in my humble opinion.
But then you argue against the infighting in the community, and you're just as bad as them, and then the cycle just repeats, and that's exactly what the pre-vegans want. They want us to be infighting and to divide us.
We're also we should never forget that no social justice movement has ever achieved their goals overnight. In fact, there is no social justice movement as yet that has achieved their goals. If you think about women's rights, I mean, still fighting. And, it took 400 years to abolish slavery. And we are progressive. We are forward thinking. We want to move ahead to make the world a better place. And the fact that there is resistance will push us harder and further and make us, more determined than ever.
Yes.
So, we know we're on the right side of the social justice movement. There are people who are embarrassed of their great-great-great-grandparents now because of where they stood, during wars of past. And there are going to be plenty of great-great-great-grandchildren in the future who are going to be ashamed of, their ancestors who are living right now, who are trolling the likes of you guys. But this is a social justice movement that is moving in the right direction. So there's probably always going to be haters. And unfortunately, They are more accessible than ever due to social media.
Yes.
We can't just silence them, but we just have to try and either ignore them as best as we can, or take what they've said as a negative and turn it into a positive somehow. That's my 2 pennies thoughts on this amazing social justice movement. But I am going to have to tap out because I'm 31 weeks pregnant and I've not stayed this late for a very long time.
No, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. It's been amazing, and thank you for all the wonderful work you are doing right now. And
back at all of you, it's been a pleasure seeing your wonderful faces. And go on the social justice movement. Let's do this.
Yes, mate.
For the world.
Take care, Laura.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Ciao.
Right, before we go any further, I just want to go to the toilet quickly.
Okay, right. You really want to leave me alone?
There's quite a few other areas of vegan phobia, because once this started happening, I made a list. But from our nutrition and from industry-funded studies, which are all sort of vegan phobic, really, and the media, how they portray that. And I wonder, Reef, did you do anything sort of about veganism in a Prevent program, about anti-radicalization as a teacher? Prevent program, so anti-terrorism program. So I know several teachers, and they've gone on this anti-radicalization course. Veganism is one of the subjects.
Oh, is it? I don't know anything about that. No. Oh, do you mean veganism? They're worried about vegan children being radicalists?
Yeah, vegan. Yeah, they're talking about vegan children and the possibilities of them being radicalized and becoming extremists. And it's on like a Prevent program for
please
terrorism.
Please share a link with me at some point, because I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah, so I know.
That is awful. I'm writing this down.
3 teachers, and 2 of them have done it.
That's really interesting. That is.
Yeah.
And what was the kind of format, what structure were they talking about?
Sorry, say that again.
What was the kind of structure of the program like? In what light were vegans seen? Were they seen on a similar light as terrorists, or were they seen as vulnerable people who could possibly join something else?
So from what I understand, it's like if you've got a vegan, there's a potential for them to become radicalized and extremist. And I'm guessing they're talking about, ALF activists or something like that, which is considered terrorism, obviously. So that's the vein it was on. And for these, one of them's a SAB, and the other lady's very outspoken vegan. Just imagining them having to sort of sit through that prevent training.
So, what I was wondering about was I don't know what qualifications you need to go into a school and be considered an educational consultant. Like, what qualifications do these people have to go in there and talk to them about? Or are they just saying, "Hey, we're a company. This is what we offer," and the school go, "Oh, I like the sound of that," and they use it. And I literally think that's how it works in schools. You don't need to necessarily have. You might be a certain accreditation from somewhere, but why can't somebody go to schools and talk about vegan phobia and talk about how we should have, like Laura does, but another kind of strand to it, and talk about how we need to support these children because these attacks are happening to them. I don't know, the way COVID is at the moment, and the way things are at the moment, it's not the right time to go knocking on doors at schools and going speaking to people. Before all this happened, I was working as a supply teacher, so I went in a lot of different schools. I've seen vegan phobia across the board, across age ranges, right from kind of age 3, 4, up to kind of age 16, sorry. So there's a lot happening now, and it's a real concern. I can't go back in schools again now as vegan teacher. I'll just get noticed, and it would just be awful for the supply company that are employing me. So I found other things. But there's definitely other ways to get into schools and to do things, and that's why I do this. I can empower the children, and then they can go into the schools and they can make, like vegan clubs or cookery clubs or environmental clubs or whatever, and they can just be empowered knowing they're not alone. But I worry because there's so many there's just so much hate out there for them. It just feels like, where do you start?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's just gonna get worse as well as we get more active and it gets more. I think that backlash is going to get worse as well. We just need to make sure we've got those support networks. And I wonder, because there's obviously some people might say that there's a difference between veganism and animal activism. But to me, that there isn't. It's sort of the same thing, because putting it in another context, say if you're a Christian and then you're a preacher, it's still Christianity. So it's still veganism, right? And then you go things, well, look at Reagan Russell, then she was killed through vegan phobia, right? That, you know, but looking at the accounts of that, I feel that was definitely murder. So that's a, you know, from my point of view, and you've got Bill Phipps and and you've got prisoners that are force-fed non-vegan foods and stuff like that. That's all. You know, there's like
children that are force-fed through tubes because they refuse to eat and they're in mental health. Children, I know because a child spoke to me, they've been put in a mental health institution, and because they refuse to eat their food, they've fed them through a tube when all they needed to do was give them vegan.
Wow. That's really heavy. That's really heavy.
We need to be positive. You know, how when all this is going on, sometimes like that vegan teacher, I spoke to her today, she's sleeping for like 2 hours every night. She is working so hard because, you know, I think she's achieved so many things in life. She's a mother, she's a grandma, you know, and she's been a nurse, she's been a teacher. It's like, now, right, what am I going to leave behind on this planet? You know, what can I do? And one of her songs is really meaningful, actually, where she just said, look, I've done all I can do. It's in your hands now. And it's really, actually, if you listen to the words, it's really beautiful. And I actually had a few tears listening to that because we can only do what we can only do. But I suppose if we all ramp it up, I suppose. Yeah.
I think it's a real shame what has happened to her. It's awful. I mean, she's out there, you know, single-handedly getting out there, you know, people are hearing vegan, and it doesn't matter what message she's talking about the animals and what they go through. And there's just so many people who are just like, well, I'm glad she's banned. She wasn't the kind of activist I want to support.
That's why we need to support her. We need to be there in a chat. We need to make videos. We need to share stuff. We need to share it to other pages and show people that because I was the first one really that stand up and said, I support that vegan teacher, because she was getting so much hate. And I was like, what can I do? And even I was like, oh, I don't know if I want this, because her trolls came to me and I was like, oh, and then I was like, I felt so guilty because I was just hiding away. And I thought, not because they're going to come for me next, although obviously that's a part of it, is I am second in line. They've already started on me. I think my account will be gone in a few days. They've already taken it down once a few weeks ago.
Oh, but, yes, they did.
Yeah, but I wrote in and got it back. So we might get her account back. The fact is we need to stand up and not say, oh, I don't agree when you say. But it just needs to be I like this person because of 1, 2, and 3 points. That's all you need to say. You don't need to say the stuff if there is stuff you don't agree with, because all that stuff gets ironed out in the long run. You just need to be there because there's so much hate, and she needs to know, and they need to know exactly. She has got guts, like, and
the other one as well, Vegan Booty. She gets a lot of hate.
Because she is a strong, independent lady, and that's right. And I'm sorry, but people do not like strong, independent women because we challenge the status quo, and it's just a preset within humans. Women like to, you know, they're supposed to be humble and toiter around the guys, and the guys are supposed to be the macho people that take the lead, just, you know, as basic human kind of characteristics. But these women are defying that. Vegan Booty ran across that auditorium, wasn't she, like either in a shorts or a pants or naked or something? I can't even remember, but she was just out there, and it was, the hate she got for that was ridiculous. But not only her, Zoe Rooster had done that a few years before, but she got so much hate because she's part of the LGBTQIA+ community as well. Awful hate, and she was just a young girl as well, and she's still floating around doing her activism. But they go through hating one person, they get bored and they start hating somebody else. It's just what they do.
Yeah. definitely.
Do you want to have a look at this thing here? What I brought up.
Yeah, you can do. You can do.
I was doing some digging on the internet, and I found, where is it gone?
I'll just say while you're looking, Adam has popped the link in the chat, guys. So if you have a different perspective or you have something you want to say, please hit that link and come on and have a chat with us, because at the end of this, this discussion, we want to sort of wrap it up and say what we think based on what we've discussed. So do bring it to the table.
Yeah. So I was searching on the internet, and this popped up on PubMed, and I think PubMed is quite a reliable source.
Yeah.
I'd say, and it's a paper that looks at and critically examines.
It's 2011.
Yeah. So it was
back in the days where it was very hard.
And basically, it looks at I think what we kind of summarize, how would you say animal activists?
Yeah, it was using words like extremists.
So vegans are variously stereotyped as this here. Extremists, the overall effects of drug treat portrayal on vegan and veganisms that interpret vegaphobia. And I think vegaphobia includes vegetarians as well, which is not what we're kind of like looking at. But yeah, how the actions of animal rights activists can perpetuate vegaphobia. I haven't actually looked at it yet, so where is the
you can only get so much of it though, can't you?
Let's just load.
Oh yeah, and then you have to pay for it.
So yeah, you have to pay $7. So I have to pay $7. So I haven't looked at it. So don't take my word on anything about that. But it might be worth looking at a bit further in the future, or maybe. When do you reckon?
I don't know. So there's another one as well that Vegan Gains shared on one of his videos the other day.
But basically, it kind of looks at it here. So first, empirically, it misrepresents the experience of veganism, and thereby marginalizes vegans. Second, it perpetuates a moral injury to omnivorous readers who are not presented with an opportunity to the understanding of veganism.
So it goes back to understanding again, doesn't it?
So maybe people that just see animal rights activists might just come up with a rational thought on that's what
because
all vegans are like.
Because it makes them have to think about things they don't want to think about. That's it.
Thirdly, and most seriously, obscures and thereby reproduces exploitive and violent relations between human and non-human animals.
Well, what happens to animals is very
that's that
violent.
paper. So that's that paper, which we haven't looked at yet, but that might be an interesting one to look at. And we've also got this one here that was Vegan Gains's, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was on
Richard Burgess.
That was on his channel. And
I think the summary of that one was kind of, was it vegetarian? Vegans are more discriminated against than. What was the word?
It's all out there, isn't it?
Yeah, so you can look at that. I can drop the link down for that if you want to have a look at that.
If anybody wants to see it.
But yeah, I don't know where I was really going with that.
Because it's sharing the facts, isn't it? That obviously KD has coined this word veganphobia, but those papers are showing that it's out there. I mean, when I was at school, I was a vegetarian, and I used to get picked on because of that. So, it's always happened, and it shouldn't happen. But I think going back to what Grumpy Vegan Grandad said earlier, we've got this Equality Act 2010. It's there for us to use. Do we make use of it and challenge all this?
How do you make use of it in the TikTok context? It's like
that's I don't know.
We've just got to do what we can and just be thankful for what we have. That's the problem. I have just dropped in the comments the link for the petition and also the 3 email addresses for TikTok. So just take 2 minutes, people, if you can. Whether you agree with that vegan teacher or not, they have taken away her freedom of speech, and let me just explain to you what the background is like, what it's like on TikTok anyway. Yes, there's these lovely little dances that all the kids are doing. However, me and Katie were tagged multiple times in a video where it starts with somebody saying, "Hey, are you bored over this time? Maybe you can make some vegan leather. Step one, invite a vegan around for some gluten-free pasta," because you know they like to take the mickey out of us with the gluten-free, even though gluten-free has got nothing to do with it. And next, and then it shows somebody, but it doesn't completely show everything, stabbing somebody with a knife in the kitchen. They fall to the floor, and then you see them going like this, and they come up with a scalp, and they scalp them. And, you know, you've got this impression that there's a body on the floor. And I didn't watch past that, but they make vegan leather. And this, I reported this video, and multiple people reported this video, and it does not violate TikTok's community standards. Although in their own guidelines, it says that animal charred remains and decapitations and actual butchering of animals is not allowed on any of the videos. And there's loads of videos out there where that we've been tagged in. When you get a tag, it's basically there's a video, they tag your name, and then you see it in your notifications, and you go, "Oh, somebody likes me." But they don't, and it's like pigs being stunned with electric prods, and people go, "Ha ha, I wish this was you," and then they'll tag us. And then there's other videos where there's full cows hanging off hooks, and they're slitting them in half, and all the guts are falling out, and then they're putting them on barbecues, and worse, believe it or not. So we're getting tagged in all this stuff all the time. These videos are not being removed, yet our freedom of speech is being taken away. I woke up this morning to 3 videos being taken away. I make about 5 videos a day, and 3 of them were removed this morning, and they were literally nothing. And I look back in my history, and it was my Aldi shopping, one of them. It was just my shopping from Aldi, and it was removed for harassment and bullying. And this is the context that's happening there. Yet Katie has been removed.
Are they just removing videos because they're getting multiple reports, and the algorithms just going, this has had 50 people report it? Because didn't KD have one taken down for nudity, and it was just literally a video of Bella, and it was taken down for nudity?
I mean, she has been in some of her videos just in a bra and a jeans, because obviously she likes to push things a bit. And why shouldn't she be? Why shouldn't she? You know, why not? I mean, even without it, it wouldn't matter. Yeah, they report it, and so they'll say like for nudity or for violence or for hate speech. But I think what they do is, somebody organizing these people somewhere, and it's somebody like Ethan Price, who's blocked me, and I've never interacted with him. I had to go on my other account to go and see him and see what he's up to. And he's made a horrible video where one of the main things about Katie is they've said that she's sexualized a minor. Right?
Oh yeah, Tommy in it or something.
And then did you see the video? The actual first video?
Yeah, she was didn't he actually make the first video, and it was about a girlfriend or something? All he said was, "If you want a vegan girlfriend or something." It wasn't sexualized at all, from what I saw.
It was close, but basically he'd got a button from YouTube, like a certificate with a button on it, because he had so many subscribers, and he was all like, do you think any of the college girls will push my button? You know, being all creepy. And Katie was just like, "Hey, Tommy in it, you know, if you want girls to push your buttons, then you need to eat your fruits and vegetables." And she's holding a cucumber and some apples. You know, it doesn't say anything, and it's very tongue-in-cheek. But then Ethan Price has gone over the top of that video and said she is sexualizing minors, she is a pedophile, she's a pedo, and then put emojis on it to make it look worse than it is, and put the words to it that psychologically this is what happens to people, this is what they remember. They don't remember the first video, they remember the reproduction that's been twisted, and said she has asked a 16-year-old minor to whip out his genitals. That's not what she did. If you watch every Disney movie and every Pixar movie, I mean, just Shrek, Lord Farquaad comes and jumps off his horse. Like, with a name like that, I mean, you know, they could have called him Lord Smith or something, you know. They went for something really close to the bone, didn't they? You know?
I think the thing here, what's happened is people take what they want from something and twist it.
Yeah.
And then they take it to their advantage and just spread hate.
Even the vegans today are still, vegan country boy, I don't like to do this, but he's like in his early 20s. I don't know, I'm rubbish at stuff like that. But he put a video out today saying about how he was glad she was banned and that we should report people for these things. But then forgetting about all the other stuff that's existing on the platform and not supporting his community, never supporting her other stuff. What is that all about?
The four things that keep reoccurring from what I've seen is obviously she's forcing people to go vegan. We've all heard that one. This Tommy in it thing. She's abusing Bella, and she killed a kid and then laughed about it. It's like someone
I've heard
put up
that
a
this
comment
week.
saying it's so ridiculous. Someone put up a comment which is obviously not true, saying, "Oh, my friend died because he followed your tips." Obviously not true, and she responded to that quite a funny way, which is just satire. So I mean, these people they're just like children that really I say they're children. They're not actually children. Some of these they're older.
You've got to be
late teens and stuff. But,
the age for TikTok, obviously they lie.
yeah.
Are they doing this because they hate Katie, or are they doing it because she's vegan, or is it both?
I think it's both. I think they've grouped together.
And she's what? Sorry, Rose? You cut out then.
So she's vegan, she's a woman, she has grey hair, or she's off a certain age, and she's a teacher. Kids hate teachers. You know, they don't want to see us on TikTok.
And what do you think, Wayne?
Because the school system is awful, you know? So.
It's just become a mob mentality of, a bunch of little shits, actually. Like, that's really what it is. It's like people that have been brought up with a really nasty attitude in life. They haven't been parented properly, I feel. I've been interacting with them a lot over the last week, and I'm normally very gentle in my approach. And I've had to take a really hardline approach with these people and really call them out in quite a strong way, which has actually made some shut up. They've deleted their comments, they've started coming around. But I've never had to be that hard with anybody, even like anti-Joel. They just need proper parenting. But they're really nasty. What they're saying is really nasty, really hurtful. I don't envy Katie.
But it goes back to what Laura was saying: impressionable children, peer pressure, probably.
And
not that I'm saying it's okay.
They're scared as well because we're presenting them with this idea, which probably they do agree with, but at home they eat meat. So how do they do anything about that? So rather than say to their parents, "I'm not doing this anymore," they have a go at us because we're wrong, because obviously their parents are right, because that you would want your children to think you are right and you want them to respect you. So it's a way, we need to find a way and I try to encourage them and say, hey, you can do what you want, but this is what I'm doing. It's a choice. Some choices have victims, So
yeah, exactly.
It's tricky finding that line and trying to find that balance, especially when you spend time creating stuff and then it just disappears. I mean, 1.7 million followers. She had over 2,000 videos on there. And she had like 5 channels, and on her other channel she had like 30,000 followers. They all went.
So trolls, because they can be a real.
I wanted
nightmare.
to answer this one because I wonder what trolls actually think, though. Well, I was once in their shoes, and I'm sure we all were. I was quite vegan phobic, if you want to say it that way. But then I actually learned.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think it's the lack of understanding. And when you actually see the truth and you're presented with the truth, sometimes you just resist it. And you're like, no, I don't want to see it. But I never went out of my way to hate on vegans, I wouldn't say. Never. But when I learned the truth and I changed to be more compassionate in my life, that's I don't know. I think those people, I think trolls literally don't see it. Do they? They can't see it. They don't see it. They've not understood. They've never been spoken to. They've never been.
I will set up to hate us. Back years ago. This is why we make these comparisons. Not that veganism is the same as racism, or not that the animal struggle is the same as the suffering of Black people or any other minority. However, you can see that the things that have happened historically, and you can see that, like, when I grew up, it was normal to say you were going to the Paki shop. Now, I wouldn't dream of saying that now. And I am saying that out loud, just like Katie agrees with her speech. You need to say the word so that people, if I say the P word, you don't know what I'm on about. And that is why in one of her videos, she did say the N-word, and she did describe a slur against black people. But she said, if a child said in my class, I would stop them and I would make sure they didn't do that again. And I would talk to them and explain to them about the history and how they shouldn't do it. So she did say that word, but she didn't use it in a derogatory, inflammatory way. And as soon as she said it, that was it. She was racist. So
going back to the comments, I'm not sure what's going on in the chat, but Owen, he's put as in what, Gwaine? So do you want to put in the chat what it is that you're lost about?
I've completely lost the trail of thought now on that comment.
Because I don't know what's going on in the chat. But
as in what, Gwaine? Him/he/him?
Do you mean what does that mean?
Yeah, what's the question?
What truth?
Yeah, what's the question?
I'm lost with Owen, to be honest.
I think what Owen is probably on about is the truth, because we were just
as in the truth, as in what goes on in the industries, what we do to animals. You know, we treat them like
shit.
Yeah, shit. They're an item. They're like a disposable item. They're not. They're someone, and that's what I learned. That is what I learned.
Animals are sentient beings.
Yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth that I learned. I was vegan phobic, and then when I actually learned the truth about what goes on, because I was like blind to it all.
They're here with us, aren't they?
Yeah. So that's it. So I don't know what this is though.
Oh yeah, somebody's asking if that vegan teacher has a new account, and she does. It's sorry, no, it's not. miss.kadies.vegan.school.
He's also put exactly.
You can find it if you go to my account. You can find it.
And I think that's what those trolls. Sorry, Ruth.
I don't know. I think Owen, when you said what's he on about, he said what do you mean by he, him, and I was just saying that's his pronouns. I think that's what I was responding to.
Oh, right.
He said, yes, that's what you mean.
Right, yeah.
You don't know who's what. They could be understanding of what you're saying or not understanding of what you're saying.
Okay.
So regarding the pronouns, I just put them on just to make anybody that is thinking about that just a bit more comfortable, because it doesn't take me anything to just put he, him on the end of my name. I'm just trying to be a bit more inclusive for people. If that was the question.
Exactly. I saw yours there and I thought I should actually do that on mine, but I've already got a lot there. But I think it's just an inclusivity thing, and it makes other people feel better if they write they, them, or he, him, or she, her, or whatever it is they choose to use. I think it helps. Learning all the time. Sorry. It all. No, please go.
Yeah, I think it helps more for people that do have different pronouns to feel more comfortable. But I got this off of the animal rights show. I was watching them, and that's what they did. It explained it. That makes sense.
It's just inclusivity. It's like if I have a classroom, I will always make sure that black people are represented somehow. I wouldn't just wait for a black kid to arrive in my classroom and then buy a book with black children in it, and for the same, I would also make sure that there's pictures of female doctors up and not just male doctors. I'd like to represent everybody just as an inclusive. The more inclusive we can be and the kinder we can be to each other, then the better. And we can just learn as we go along. And if somebody's not doing something, have a conversation about it rather than going, you're not doing this and you need to do it better. Just have a chat.
Yeah. Have a conversation, definitely.
Yeah.
So they're saying, yeah, definitely. Well, we've been doing that, haven't we, with the nursery? When they've been not doing things that are necessarily how we do it, it's sit down, let's have a chat about this, and let's get it right.
You're really lucky. They've been really good with you. I'm hoping they don't get any. I'd like to know, please I'm sure you will let us know if there's any repercussions from other parents, because obviously these children are learning what veganism is. They're going to go home and they're going to want to be vegan too, because they're not going to want to eat animals. And the parents are going to be like, oh, Jack's brainwashing the rest of the kids in the class. Something needs to be done.
Well, yes, because he's already had this in the classroom when they were getting the cow's breast milk out. I think I've said this a couple of times on the stream, and they put their milk out and he goes, oh, that's disgusting. And that's what all the other kids do. Oh, not drinking that cow's breast milk. It's disgusting. So nothing has been said yet. The thing is, he knows the truth.
The thing is, I think as well, the parents are the first to know that he's vegan, because they'll walk in and be like, "Oh, hello, Chloe's mum and dad. Are you vegan?" That's what he says to him. He says he's really quite a proud vegan.
Yeah, he is. Bless him. He is. Toby Goslin says a lack of understanding is leading us away from unity.
Is that a quote from one of the songs from the Black Eyed Peas? I see. Where was I going with that troll thing?
I don't know, but I think trolls, are they necessarily vegan phobic? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Not all of them.
I don't think so. They don't even know. They're just following someone else and doing what they say. Because I think there's some follow things where if you follow this person, we will do a like for like, and we will like your account, or we will like your videos, or give you an extra follower, because they all want to be famous. Like the complete opposite reason why I don't want to be all this. But that's exactly what they want. Fame is like the pinnacle of their life point. You know, that's what they want. So they're doing it for that. Don't care why. No. I don't think they even put the headphones and they come on that vegan teacher's YouTube and she's on for 10 minutes talking and they just comment in a way. I don't think they're even listening. I think they're probably watching TV or something, commenting with the sound off.
What they're doing is copy and paste with a cow's backside and just copy paste and do
an emoji of a knife, an emoji of a gun. Some of them do really pretty stuff where they just and make it look like one great big massive machine gun. Very creative.
The ASCII code thing.
So
ASCII art, or whatever it's called.
Let's start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
Where do we go from now?
I think we just need to be open. My thing, open, you know, understanding, maybe try and teach them. I know it's going to be hard because you've got top vegan phobes out there that, like, was it Shout Louder with Crowder?
I don't know, but there is
that
actually
guy, and then we've got Vegan Deterioration.
There is an account called Veganphobic.
And we got Veganphobic as well.
Out there.
They spread all sorts of absolute nonsense.
I don't really know.
We need to support each other. Vegan phobia is going to happen. We need to support each other, and we need to support other activists, even if we don't agree with what they're doing. Yeah, if we get somebody that's being overtly racist or like that, then we need to call that out. And it's healthy to have a bit of debate with each other, but we need to stick together. We need to support each other, even if we don't agree. There was it's slightly different, but in the 2000s, the Chat campaign, when they put the website up, they made the decision they're going to support. They can put everything up on the website, and that Chat campaign was so successful that governments had to step in to save a big corporation in the end, multiple governments. I mean, they did that by sticking together, and that's what we need to do, because, like, kids are going to die, they're going to commit suicide, there's going to be deaths, and if we don't stick together and support each other, our movement's going to fall apart, and it's not going to be good for vegans that are in this, and for the animals.
What I was going to say as well is I think people that are just on a plant-based diet and do not share the ethical stance need to be honest with themselves. They need to take a step back and actually identify as not being vegan, because they might go around saying to people, "Oh yeah, I'm vegan, but
that's because they don't know. They haven't researched it like we have. Here this week, and they're vegan. That's the problem.
That's what I mean. These people might go around, "Oh, but I'm vegan," but they're not really, because they don't share any sort of ethical stance on animal, agriculture or anything like that. But they might go into a comment section and go, "This person does not represent me as a vegan." If you know what I mean.
And they're plant-based for health, which is
and they're plant-based for health, but they are then being veganphobic to us.
Yeah.
So I think they need to get a good step, and maybe look into it, or just don't even identify as vegan, because they do not share the same goal as what we're trying to achieve.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also, if you haven't experienced anything like this before, then of course you're probably going to have a lack of understanding about what this vegan phobia potentially is as well.
Like me a week ago.
Yeah.
Well, you picked it up really quickly. You didn't go, no, you can't do that, and have a big little hissy fit about it. You just went, oh yeah, that makes sense actually. So why can't we all just do that? No, it's good to have different opinions and talk it through, but it makes sense.
Because we will never, like what you were saying, we'll never fully we'll never, every vegan's different. We might not share the same views on different things, but we might not, was it the vegan stance is it the most practical, ethical way, isn't it? And for some people, it might not be practically possible to do, say, a shop at a vegan shop, and someone might have to go and use a supermarket, which is not, super ethical, but it's only practical to a certain point, isn't it? So we're gonna have to just sometimes just do our best and support each other.
Yeah.
Even though
I'd like to see the bigger activists like your Joey Carbstrong and your James Aspey and your Earthling Ed and all your bigger activists. I would like to see them spending time supporting other activists who are trying to do something, because there's room for all of us. Why can't we all be doing something? Like all the things that we're all going through now with technology and trying to figure stuff out, and what the hell is a Patreon, and I'd like to do this full time. Can I make money from this? Is it ethically right that I should make money from this? I put a kid's book out there. Is it ethically right I make money from that? Well, I decided it's not, so it's cheaper, and it's available for free. But they could share all the information with us and say, hey, well, I did it these ways, and you can do it too. Let's get you started up. But I don't know why they're not doing that. Like right from day one, when I've been on here on YouTube, I've been doing like book swaps with people, or I've been buying like, Tina Newman's book, and I've done a book review on it because I feel that we should promote it. It's not about what I've got going on. It's about like the more of those books we've got in kids' libraries or on kids' bookshelves, the better this movement's going to be and the stronger it'll be. It doesn't matter that, I've got a book. Because they're different, and it's like activists as well. There's room for Joey Carbstrong and James Aspey. Why can't there be room for more? Why can't we there?
Leon, that's great. Put it back.
Rise back up and fight.
I like that. Yes. I was actually going to say something.
So many times. My life has not been straightforward. I experienced worse. This is nothing.
I can't think what I was going to say. I was going to say something really good. It's gone. I want to go back to Georgina Eve. I don't know whether I've been living under a rock for goodness knows how long, but who is ALY Cara? Who is that?
Do you want me to explain that, or do you know? I know.
No,
Cara.
So about, I don't know, I'm guessing 6 months ago, there was this girl who, so Katie's song with her ukulele.
Yes.
Just sent me a ukulele.
Wrong, McDonald's.
That's right.
So,
millions of views. People are realizing that if they jump off of that, they've got a platform. So what she did was, she's quite pretty. She's got a little blonde bob. She's like quite, she's like 19. She's got sparkling blue eyes and quite pretty and young. And she's in the, in the camera singing, eating animals is right, McDonald's. So she sings a song. She's really pretty, and it was like. So Kate did a response video saying, Ali Cara, it's not right because X, Y, and Z. It's not right to eat animals. And she said eating animals is fine. That's what she said. It's just fine. And at this point, she proclaimed to be a vegan, but she's like one of those vegans we were talking about before. She hadn't really looked into it. So if Katie did nothing else, this girl did change her status from vegan to plant-based. But it went on and on and on. And what she was doing, this Ali Cara, was she was blocking anybody that tried to confront her or to challenge her view. She just blocked us, so we couldn't interact with her or see what she was doing. Now, she wasn't aware of me, so I watched and waited, and then I put out like 5 videos in about an hour about her. And I basically said, the face that you're pulling, I said to her, you look like a child who has been told they can't go to the toilet yet and they have to wait a minute, because she was pretending. She's like, that vegan teacher, when you're saying, so she totally threw all the dummies out the pram then. And then all of her followers totally bombed, and I had my comments open up until this point. They totally threw all their bacon spams down on me. It was like raining steaks.
Like we've never seen them before.
Like clouding the chance of meatballs. It was like that on my page. They all lost it. And then they were calling me, they didn't call me a pedo, but they said I was an old lady attacking a little girl. She's 19. She's in the army. And she was, you know, and the reason that she was saying all this, we've realized now, is because her parents work in the animal agriculture industry. So she's obviously got mixed reactions here, because she's probably realized it's wrong, but her parents make money from it. And there's no way she'd have the clothes she's wearing or the house she was living in if it wasn't for the income that her parents are providing with her. I think she's like from Hungary or somewhere like that. So another big bonus. I was saying, you know, you're really pretty, you're really smart, you speak more than one language, you're super intelligent. Can you not see how Katie is just trying to appeal to you? Actually just lost it. So it keeps, but she wouldn't have her platform if it weren't for stepping off of that vegan teacher. And
so did she identify as vegan then when she was really plant-based? Is that what you were trying to?
Initially, she's had on a bio that she was vegan, but like one of her videos where she was eating vegan food and she was saying it was rubbish. So I don't know if she was just, because a lot of people, believe it or not, are also saying they're vegan just to get more followers as well, and they're actually not at all. Or like in the comments, if that's Katie's account, that vegan teacher, who cares? It's not, because there's a lot of people who are creating new accounts pretending to be Katie and commenting as though they are Katie.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then so long, then they change their picture, they change their name, and they say, ha, 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 got you. Or they just put, you know, lots of racist slurs everywhere and pretend that it's coming from Katie because they've already interacted with her and they actually think it's her.
If it's not hundreds of fake accounts, then it's thousands. I'd just add on Instagram as well.
You try and find me on YouTube, you try and find me on TikTok and just type in Vegan Teacher UK and you'll have all of Katie's hate accounts first. I can't find myself.
Yeah.
I'm just going to interject here. The vegan vlogger, she has a YouTube channel.
Come on.
I really.
Yeah, she can come on, but she doesn't have to have the camera on if she doesn't want to.
You don't have to put your camera on.
It'd be great to hear your perspective.
What I'm going to do is we're going to put the link in if you want to come on without your camera, because I appreciate you've never joined a live before and you've got some anxiety, and that's fine. If you don't want to come on and you don't want to use your camera, would you like to put your experience in the chat, or would you like me to share what I know of it? So let us know, and we can have a little chat about that, because from what she said has happened to her, I thought it's disgusting. So it'd be good if she wants to share it.
She doesn't have to if she doesn't want to. I don't feel pressures or anything. I've been there as well.
So is there any comments that you have missed? Is there anything else we want to say about this vegan phobia? Is there anything we haven't said yet? There's 26 people in the chat. So if anybody wants to come on and say
in the comments,
anything, jump on.
So really, I can't believe, why have none of the trolls followed me over to YouTube? Why are they not? What my life is like.
Well, maybe they did, but the mods were that quick they didn't even have a chance to say anything. It was like boom, boom, boom.
Mods, is that true? Mods, what did you delete? Let us know.
I haven't seen any. What they've probably done is just put the thumbs down, and YouTube likes thumbs down, so it's all good. It's wonderful. Oh, bless her, everybody.
So if you don't want to show your camera, that's fine.
But you're also welcome to show your camera as well.
You're also welcome to if you want to.
Okay.
Oh.
We're going to bring you in now, Alison. I think you've got to click.
Okay.
That's it. Add to stream. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Alison.
Hi.
Welcome to the stream.
Oh dear, I'm
Thank
shaking.
you so much.
Oh.
We don't bite too much.
No.
It's so lovely to have you here, Alison. Thank you. Thank you for being strong.
Yeah. Well, hey. Yeah, I think it's the Weight Watchers one that you I've been a Weight Watchers member for a lot of years. When I went vegan last year, I basically put like I lost loads of weight without actually following the plan. And yeah, I just started putting foodie pictures, because it's like you've got the Weight Watchers app, and it's like Instagram basically, with pictures, and you can put whatever you want on there, bit of video. And I did pictures of my food, and then sometimes I'd throw things in, like just not heavy things, but things like about the cruelty, like dairy, this is what goes on, just sort of sowing seeds, that kind of thing. And sometimes the people would be all right, and I had like over 2,000 followers, which yeah, has been pretty amazing. And I thought, oh, I'll take that to my advantage and just put a bit in there. And then there's been people that recently that have been diving in and looking on my sort of things that haven't been put recently, and complaining that I'm putting about oat milk. It's like I put a picture of some oat milk and something I'd done with it. I can even eat oats, and a lady complained about it, and somebody else did as well. And then I had vegans coming on saying to me that I shouldn't be putting my opinions on thing. It's all about weight loss. Or Weight Watchers, they're very all for eating chicken breast, eggs, fish, all free foods that you can eat as much as you want and you're going to lose weight, sort of thing. You know, they're all free. Yeah. So it's all the cruelty linked side of things, you know. And I think, well, why can't they talk about the, you know, the vegetables and eating healthily that way? But they don't want to. And then I had one late, somebody had put complaints to the Weight Watchers thing. I've got a cat climbing over my head. There we go. And yeah, I had an email that basically said to me that I'm to keep my vegan opinions to myself. I'm not allowed to put anything about being vegan on this, otherwise they are gonna block my account from putting anything. And people can put about holidays, they can put about all sorts of things, so it's not just weight loss entirely, you know. But yeah, they put this, how it was worded, and I thought it was pretty disgusting and quite shocking, because it's like you're not allowed to talk about anything else. So I'm not allowed to mention anything about the cruelty side that might be linked to the milk that you're drinking or anything like that, really. So I've just got to sugarcoat it and just say, here's a jackfruit curry, and that's it. So yeah.
So you're being censored then, basically.
Yeah, censored, which is what happened to Kado. Censored.
Yeah. But I've had a lot of people that have sort of liked it, because they've said that it's good to see somebody actually stepping out of the zone, if you like. And there's a lot of vegans that have wanted, I think, to put stuff on their account, but then they've not wanted to in case they upset somebody, or, but I've actually done it and they don't like it. So
have you felt that you could challenge them about that? Have you felt like you were able to?
I've just basically put a post about about freedom of speech. You should be able to, you know, put things. Yeah, there was a couple of people that were trolling through my account, and they didn't like me putting about well, anything, you know, saying like these are the alternatives to fish, and you know, sort of making a few comparisons with it, that that you shouldn't, you know, it's a cruelty and everything, and these are the cruelty-free options that you can have. And so yeah, little things like that. But yeah, I do feel censored, and it just put me off entirely now.
I think this is what we're going to start seeing, isn't it? Really, I mean, Slightly off subject, Grumpy Vegan Grandad did a video recently about CBBS and how CBBS, it was about how they were saying about the dairy industry, and he wasn't allowed to put it up. And I think it got took down. It was allowed to go up, then it got took down, and that's censoring, isn't it?
Yeah,
really.
Well, it was something to do with copyright
but it
ownership.
It's like you're not allowed to expose.
But even still, the program was censoring what goes on through the dairy industry, because it wasn't showing the whole process. It was only showing you the shiny, nice bits.
Yeah. I'm not sure I know what the nice bits are.
But yeah, you know, feeding the the cow the hay in the barn, and you know. And then magically milk comes from it, you know, like sort of like, hey, here you go, some glasses of milk. How's milk? So, yeah.
Well, we have another guest as well in the back, so we'll bring him on in just a second.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Gawain?
I was just going to say, well done for using your platform like that. That's really creative, and that's really great that you got up there and stood up for the.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's done, mate.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
And you've got all of us around you. You know, this community it goes beyond our channel. It's among all of these channels, and you know, we're all here for one another.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, shall we bring on Owen?
I think it's Owen. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring on Owen. Here he is.
It got took down. It was Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? Thank you
How's
for
it going?
joining.
It's a pleasure. But I'm watching you there, and I'm watching the television, and I can't work out how far ahead I am.
Okay.
All right.
I see. Yes.
Because I'm watching on the television.
Yeah, me too.
Got you on the iPhone. Oh, sorry, you can't see me. You know.
Yeah.
You need to mute the telly, Owen.
Sorry?
You need to mute the telly, Owen, and then just listen to this one.
Yeah, you're not far behind. You're not far behind now. You're going to be coming on in a second.
All right. Okay.
There's always a delay. There's always a
delay.
Right.
Okay. Well, I take an active interest in all of this.
Yeah.
Because
with veganphobia.
Well, you see, this thing with vegan phobia. Yeah, I don't hold with that. Yeah, here I have. Oh, I can see me on the television here now. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you're asking about vegan phobia. I mean, what do I think to that? Well, yeah, I think all these subjects are very different. And, yeah. Now, hang on a minute. I'm going to have to shut this television off for a minute. Hang on a minute. Let's just switch that off. Right. Sorry about that.
Sorry. I'm just going to go check and check.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, right.
Loud and clear.
I take an interest. Yeah, I take an interest in this because, you know, my wife and I mean, we've been vegans now probably for just on 12 months. And, you know, and as a result of that, I mean, I know you, I think, is it Danielle, I think your name is?
Danny, yeah.
Danny, yeah. I know you know my wife.
Yes.
And
she's wonderful.
And, you know, we've been doing this. Like I said, we've been vegetarians probably for about 12 years, and we've only just started, just kind of moved over to being vegan. But I mean, yeah, what do I think of it? I mean, I think it's a great idea. But what I will tell you is that I spent most of my life working in the meat industry, so it's not too much about that. I don't know about.
Okay.
Right. I started my working life pretty much as a butcher. And yes, I worked. I mean, if you want to give it a fancy name, call it an abattoir. You can call it that if you want. But it was a slaughterhouse, so I know all about that. And well, what can I say about it? Well, I mean, nothing really that you don't already know. But one of the things that does bother me, that I have to be perfectly honest with, is when you talk about activism. Now, if you look at things like when lorries, say for instance, come, to the abattoir. One of the things that bothers me is where people kind of approach these animals, because naturally animals do not like human contact. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you got any thoughts on that? So
the idea with
depends how domesticated they are, really. I think.
I got who's saying that? Right, go on then. Yeah.
I think it just depends on how domesticated they are and how familiar they are with humans.
Well,
and actually, what happens they call them vigils, or where you bear witness.
yeah.
It's where you show them some form of love or some kind of recognition, and we show them as a someone before their life is ended, and that is all it is. It's about being a voice for them.
Okay, but you see, I mean, I've seen things on the television, and there's a big case going on now. Well, there is a big case going on now in between. I don't know if you've heard about the cattle. They're stranded at sea. I don't know if you know anything about that, do you?
I heard about this the other day, actually.
Right. Okay. Now this is an important one, and now these cattle, ultimately, their demise will be into the slaughterhouse. And okay, I mean, I don't agree with that. Just the same as you do. I mean, I can't see you very well, you see, because the problem I've got, I'm talking to you on the telephone, and I'm watching you on the television, and I can't,
We can see you perfectly.
Yeah,
that's
Okay,
better, actually.
that might be better like that. Yeah. So you see, I don't know how to explain this to you, see, because I work with animals, and one of my understanding, of animals is that they don't like, this human interaction. And if you go to, let's say you go to the field and you walk your dog or whatever you do, they don't like, they will move away. Does that make sense?
Not all animals, because a couple of weeks ago we went out for a walk with Jack to go to the cow field.
Yeah.
And we gave these cows some apples. We just popped them down. We didn't actually feed them to the cows. We just popped them down. And they came over to us to basically try and
get some
investigate. And they wanted attention. And they stayed with us for a while and tried to rob our lunch.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Very inquisitive characters.
When you said that when you say you have an interaction with animals, was it only in the slaughterhouse?
Right. Well, a bit of both, really, because right. I mean, I had interaction with animals, obviously working in the on a small holding. Okay. And I will be perfectly honest with you on here that I had interaction with them in the slaughterhouse as well. Okay. But what I will tell you is this, right? There was never, ever, ever anything in there that went on with the likes that you see on, because I mean, I've seen all the footage and, about what people do. And I've seen, what people do. I watched one just recently that went on in Wrexham in North Wales with, what the hell were they called? Something Fresh, Farmers Fresh, right? So I've seen all that, but, we never, ever did anything like that.
But do you think that there are some places that are not are. I've seen things. I think there was something in the newspaper. I think it was last year where there was a lamb's head. They'd put it on someone's head and they were playing around with it. There's places like that out there. But I guess what happens in a slaughterhouse is an animal has their life taken away, and it doesn't matter how it's done. Yeah, they are still slaughtered, and that, as a vegan, I'm against that. It doesn't matter how it's done. They don't want to die. They want to live, and that for me is, it doesn't matter what type of slaughterhouse it is. I'm sure you agree. Yep. They go there to die, and they shouldn't be being bred to die. It shouldn't be happening, but it does, because we don't live in a vegan world.
Okay, but hang on a minute now. See, the point you've made, right, which is the fundamental point, is that the animal doesn't want to die, right? And that is a fundamental point, and I accept that. Now, like I said to you, I have now become a vegan myself,
which is brilliant.
Right? And my wife has become a vegan, which you know my wife anyway, and but as a result of that, it's having that kind of rational thinking and understanding of the difference between, well, what is right and what is wrong, but also as well, you've also got the understanding. It's all to do with is rational thinking. Okay. Now, because I've seen it and I've been there, I believe I have a far greater understanding than what some people will ever have in their lifetime.
We've all seen it too, though, Owen.
Sorry?
We haven't not been in slaughterhouses. I've been in a slaughterhouse. I've stood outside slaughterhouses. I've heard the screams of the animals. It's not like we haven't been and seen it.
Are you the lady in pink? Are you? Yes, yeah. Don't forget, I'm on the phone.
It kind of feels like you came here to mock us, Owen. I'm just going to say what everybody's thinking. I'm not really sure, but it feels like you came here to laugh at us. I could be wrong. I could have read you wrong. I don't know who you are. But it just feels like you came here for a laugh.
No. Hang on a minute, right? No. Let's be clear. I haven't come here to mock anybody, because what I'm telling you is that I am a vegan. All right? What I'm trying to put across to you is that I have an understanding from both ends. All right? And I mean, I don't know if, you must know about animal, hang on a minute, I got to think for a minute. Animal, oh God, I can't think what they call for a minute, right?
Animal Rebellion?
No, there's a group called Animal something or other. And what they do, they put cameras into slaughterhouses.
Mm-hmm.
They put cameras on farms.
Yeah, it's great.
And Animal Aid, that's the one I'm thinking of, right? And now, in the way, I agree with what they do.
Well, no, Animal Aid, they petitioned to get cameras in slaughterhouses. It was an actual, it took them about 10 years to get that put in. But now that they're in, the farmers don't actually have to put film in those cameras. By law, they actually only have to have the cameras in the slaughterhouses. But they've found a loophole where they actually didn't write into the law that those cameras have to have film in them. So now Animal Aid are petitioning to get film in those cameras, because obviously farms and slaughterhouse, they don't want you to see that stuff, because the more connected we are with what happens to our food, the less likely we are to buy those things and purchase those items.
Right, okay. But what I'm telling you is this, right? Now, this group, Animal Aid, they put cameras in these places, right? And by doing that, they make people aware, okay? And I do 1000% believe that is right and proper. All right? Yeah. I do believe that.
And it took them 10 years to get that in. Years of campaign.
Now what I'm going to tell, but what I'll tell you is this. Yeah? Now, you see, there's a contrast here between what you have, or what you call the meat industry, i.e., as in what you eat in meat, and the dairy industry. right? Now, my wife and I mean, we've been vegetarians for the last 12, possibly 15 or so years. Now, one of the things, I mean, okay, given my background and what I understand about the whole thing, I believe that the dairy industry to be far more cruel,
Yes,
like,
we would agree.
right, than the meat industry. Okay. Now, okay, if you use, let's say, for instance, a captive bolt on a creature, now, for them, that's the end of it. All right. But if you look at the dairy industry and you look at things like how it comes into being, I mean, that's bloody awful. Because some of the things that go on with animals or with cattle, let's say, for instance, is downright awful.
It is,
But,
yeah.
I mean, people say, people will look at cattle and think, yeah, okay, this is what happens. But if you look at the wider picture and you think of things like, well, what about, let's say, for example, goats or sheep? Huh? It goes on there too. But very little is talked about that.
So what I'm trying to understand, obviously, is we're talking about vegan phobia.
Oh, yeah, vegan phobia.
Are you trying to say, and I think this is what you're trying to say, is that we shouldn't really be complaining because the animals have it worse? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, yeah, because the animals do have it worse. I mean, you see, the animals have it a damn sight worse than any kind of human.
Absolutely.
Well, of course you do, because at the end of the day, right? I mean, I cannot relate. I mean, if somebody turns around and tells me that I'm a vegan phobia, then I'll tell them what for. Because I am not phobic in any way. I'm a vegan because I believe that is the right way forward. All right? I do believe that now, Danielle, because at the end of the day, I don't, I'm not phobic, but I do believe as well that, I love a plant diet and I will advocate it wherever I go. Okay. Now, I work for a company, and the son is, let's say, for instance, I mean, he's a farmer. Okay, that's fair enough if that's what he wants to do. But there is nothing there that he can tell me that I don't already know.
So, what do you think that we're calling you vegan phobic or something? Is that why you've come on?
Well, you see, I mean, I've been listening to this piece tonight, right? And it seems to be this whole thing about vegan phobia or homophobia or racism or Islamophobia or whatever it is, right? I mean, I personally believe that each and every subject is it's a separate subject. They're not the same. Right?
But what we're trying to, what we agree. We agree with that.
And I think you need to get a grip on that, right? They're not the same. And
yeah, we all agree with that.
But why do you think, right? But why would you think that a vegan phobia is why do you think veganism? I mean, why would you think that is a phobia?
Because some people
hate
have
vegans.
A serious hate towards vegans. They really do.
But don't you think that's extreme?
It's very extreme that people hate vegans. Yes.
But why? Why do they hate them?
This is why we're here tonight.
This is why we're here tonight, because we know a load of people that have been attacked for being vegan recently, and we're here to discuss openly. I can have an open dialogue on where we go forward with this
as a community to help each other.
Yeah, but you see the point. But when you say attacked, are you being attacked? Are you saying attacked verbally or physically?
Murdered in some cases.
Where's that happened?
Reagan Russell, arguably Jill Fritz, Arguably Jill Phipps. Perhaps Barry Horn, although that's a bit of a different one. Also,
I've lost you. I can. You're trying to say something.
You're lagging out, Gwen.
Yeah, your internet went.
Bad internet.
Yeah. Could you go from Fritz again? From Fritz, from the top.
Okay. So Megan Russell, that was definitely murder. There's Jill Phipps, which I'm not sure whether that was an accident or, but it was because of that. Barry Horn, sort of arguably, that was a hunger strike thing. But then obviously there was this kid that Ruth just mentioned that committed suicide 2 years ago because of the vegan phobia. But recently, there's a lot of death threats towards activists.
I get death threats.
The child who hung himself.
That's
yeah. Sorry.
Right.
And I know vegans that have been physically attacked for being vegan as well.
Yeah. So basically, see what we got here now, right? Is a contrast between what you call threats. Unfortunately, some people might have taken their own life, and then you're talking about things like actual murders.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all things that have happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which happens in the other communities. So, people kill gay people. People kill people because of the colour of their skin. So it's all separate. It's all separate, and we all agree
on that.
Yep. You see, the problem I have, right, is the whole different subject, right? And I mean, if you stick to veganism, for instance, I would be quite disturbed. I mean, if as being a vegan, that somebody could actually threaten me.
Yeah, I know. But it goes on, and that's why we've done this tonight, to raise awareness of it.
So try and understand it a bit more, because we don't know whether it's the fear of veganism or it's the hate of veganism, but I think it's partly both.
When we decided to do this, Owen, we weren't sure. We weren't particularly sure about our view on it. We were actually, you may know that last year in the summer we were victims of bullying from the opposition, who were very hateful. They publicly body shamed me, shared pictures of our innocent child on their hateful social media pages,
all for being vegan,
all because we're vegan. And it comes with a lot of hate. Apparently I'm malnourished, apparently I've aged a significant amount, and all this horribleness. But it happens because I'm vegan. If I wasn't vegan, probably wouldn't happen.
This wouldn't have happened. We'd have just fitted with the status quo, and we'd have like.
Well, you see, the thing is, I mean, if I wasn't vegan, I'd be 8 stone heavier, and that's a fact.
You've done amazing, and I really appreciate you coming on.
I do hope that you never a victim of vegan phobia.
No, I haven't had that. I have to be honest. I mean, people take the piss, but people take the piss, but I just laugh.
Well, that's vegan phobia.
Well, all right, if you want to call it that, but at the end of the day, I mean, I just laugh it off and just think, oh well, if that's what they think, fair enough.
And
some people, what they like.
Some people are able to laugh it off, but for some people they can't.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, I've been called a fat lump before, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's just a fact of life, isn't it, But
and that's fat phobic.
Sorry?
Yeah, fat phobic.
I mean, that's fat phobic.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've had that plenty of times, I can tell you that,
Okay.
So I think right now we all agree. I think we can all agree that vegan phobia, it does happen. It is happening. And all we can do as a community is support one another, speak up when we see it happening as a community. What does anyone else want to add to that?
Whether it's physical or mental, it's still all boils down to the same thing. It's still, you know, still a form of abuse.
Absolutely. It is. It doesn't matter if it's physical, mental, verbal. It's all forms of abuse.
And
it's not
side
acceptable
here as well. I really hope that people who are victims of veganphobia or vegan phobia reach out and get help.
Yeah. And, you know, pretty much everyone in this chat has probably got some kind of social media. We can all reach out to one another. We don't have to be alone.
Don't suffer in silence, no.
And know your rights as well, like Danny was saying about the 2010 Act. Like I've got like loads of stories I could tell about kids. I mean, I've had children tell me that they've got eating disorders, and when they go to their group with the counsellors or the therapists, I don't know what they are, and they are told that they must eat the vegetarian option, like a vegan option isn't provided. Now, if you've got an eating disorder and you want to be vegan, and then on top of that you're being forced to eat products, like that shows a complete lack of understanding. So it's really sad. So there's a lot of people going through this, and for me it's the kids that are suffering this. So, you know, keep an eye on them and try and educate teachers and people like that who are around children, and doctors and nurses and counsellors and therapists, because a lot of them are scared to go to counselling. Most of us are probably suffering from PTSD from what we've been through. We can't go to counselling because the counsellors wouldn't understand what we've been through. It just doesn't make sense. But go anyway. I went for counselling earlier last year, actually. Doesn't matter why. But when I was speaking to the counsellor, I nearly didn't tell her I was vegan. And then when I told her I was vegan, actually I was able to talk about it, and actually she was okay with me. And I'd like to think I was able to educate her a little bit too. So, you know, don't think people will automatically hate you because you do think that. Like, I imagine other minorities think, oh, if I go in here, everybody's going to hate me. Don't do that. Be proud. You are who you are, and it's amazing what you're doing.
And actually, that's the thing. Social media is totally different to reality. And in our life, we've not received any face-to-face hate from anybody that we know, other than, you know, a few silly remarks.
Yeah, some
that's it.
Remarks.
That's nothing. It's just social media. Our choice was to be on social media. So if, you know, we got noticed by the opposition, and when you are out there doing it, people are, like Laura Shepner said earlier, that there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be anti-vegans, always. But what we've got to do is what we've just said, is to reach out to one another and just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and even if you don't fully agree with that person or the way the activism is, get behind them and support them, because we all want the same goal at the end of it.
We've all got the same message.
Yeah, 100%.
Or send a personal message and talk it out. Don't slate them across social media. Don't put in their public comment section how wrong they are. Send them a private message and say, hey, I've seen you've done this. Can we just talk about it? Because I'd like to learn, and maybe we can learn together. Yeah.
Really good point.
And
yeah, I think exactly what Georgina said there.
Georgina,
do more.
Whereabouts are you in the world?
We need to do more. We need to educate our younger children. You know, this is the way forward now. They need to be ready for it. They need to understand. They don't want to be raised to discriminate against people with a different ethical view.
No, exactly. I just want this point with Georgina, and then we shall wrap it up, because we've almost been going 2.5 hours. So thank you for everyone who's stayed and been on. And
I honestly don't think 2.5 hours is enough time to discuss a subject like
that. I don't think it is, but it is coming up to my bedtime. Schools, and I'm going for a half marathon in the morning, so I need an early-ish night. Just going back to that comment ads that you've just clicked off. For goodness sake. Schools,
Southwest.
Okay, Southwest England, great. I'm so glad you're here tonight, because you need to check out Laura Chapner. So she was in the chat earlier, primary education. Also, there is somebody called Ruth Jenkins, who, if you can get in touch with me on Instagram, so UK_vegan family, I will send you the link so that you can get this pack to your school. And what is Ruth just picking up there?
If she sends, if you don't want to give me your address, it's fine. But if you private message me your address, I will send you a copy of my book, and you can give it to your school to make their library more vegan inclusive. So because any of these books that I sell, I don't make any money from them. I use it to print more books off so I can send them to schools or to kids who I think it might help. It's just a nice story about a kid who goes vegan and her little journey. Danny's read it, so you know, she can say whether she thinks she'll like it or not. It depends what age you are.
And it came with some wonderful illustrations on the packaging as well. It's great. But no, that's so the schools thing, that's something that we've got our own research project that we are doing in light of what happened to us last year. So the schools will be changing. They will be changing. Has anybody got any final words?
My wife has. Come on, Claire. Come here. Oh,
hello, Claire.
I'd like to send hello to you, Claire. Claire?
She doesn't have to come on if she doesn't want to. I know it's scary. It's scary. Alison, have you got any final words you want to say? Now.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Massive milestone for you.
I've been umming and ahhing, and it was like, I'll press it. No, I won't. Yes, I will. Ever since you come on air with it. So it was like, oh.
She does have a YouTube channel, by the way, guys.
Well done.
The vegan blogger.
Yeah, just you know, just get it out there. Just keep putting stuff on Facebook and annoying people with your posts and stuff, and eventually something will stink in. I do it all the time. I share all sorts. I've shared Ruth's stuff and all sorts all over the place. Yeah, and lots of others as well. You know,
Thank
it's
you.
important.
That's what we've got to do. And Gwen, have you got any final things you want to say?
It's been great to meet everybody. This is a really important conversation. I think just echoing what everybody said, we just need to support. Anyone can message me on Instagram if they need help _evolving. I'm up for speaking to anyone and supporting anyone.
Thank you. Ruth, any final words?
Yeah, first of all, Owen, I'm really sorry. I totally had you wrong. I thought I get so many people who pretend to be nice, and then the next thing I know, they're saying, haha, go and eat a burger. And I've just predisposed to think everybody hates me. So I'm sorry if I got you wrong before. No hard feelings.
No, don't worry about it. You know, not at all.
And what I want to say to Owen is I'm really glad you came on, and I think it was very brave that you shared your story, because there's quite a few people we know in our community who have done your job and have also gone vegan, and it's always great to hear of those people in the community. So thank you for coming on. Do you have, what was that? Sorry, Ruth.
It gives us hope. It really does, that if you can change, then anyone can change, you know. And I want to say one more thing. Before any great change becomes, there is a great adversity. So at the moment, we're kind of at the pinnacle of that. We've got a lot of hate bombarding us. Any social justice movement, before great change, there's great adversity. So just remember that, and they've overcome, and we can too.
Absolutely. Together we can, can't we? Owen, did you have any final words you want to say before we end the stream?
I did. Now, the lady in pink, I'm going to get your name. Ruth Greenwood. You said something about going out and eating a burger, didn't you? Right?
You can't in COVID.
Right. Well, yes, you can. Now, you can go to Morrison's and you can buy, I think they're called Gosh.
Yeah.
I think they're called Gosh, right? And they are a mushroom and something burger.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to go and eat a burger, right, that would be the best one for you, because my wife made some.
I like to make my own. I make my own steak, so you know.
And we have some really, really nice Gosh mushroom burgers. They were great.
There you go.
I love it.
But that's what you meant to be on the light note, you know.
No, I love it. Thank you
Final
for
words
sharing.
from Owen. Go and get your gosh burgers.
Go to Morrison's.
Yeah.
Get your vegan burgers.
The only thing I've had tonight is my wine. But
Oh,
there
I
you
do
go.
blame you.
All right.
Well,
It's time for bed now, I think.
yes, it is. Thank you, everybody.
My head hurts. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who has come on tonight. Everyone who's moderated. We haven't had any trolls, thankfully, but
Oh, God,
no,
yeah.
they're always welcome. Thank you for everyone who's asked a question, shared their experiences, and thank you for all the continued support we've had. We're coming up to our 2-year veganversary in March, and it's been an absolute blast. Isn't it? A blast. We will see you all soon. We don't know what we're doing next. Do we?
No, we don't know what's next.
But we'll see you all soon. Peace, everybody.
Peace.